We also discussed the situation on the ground. Last year, Ukraine won the battles for Kiev, Kharkiv, and Kherson. This year, they continue to inflict heavy losses on Russia. Ukraine has recaptured 50% of the territory that Russia originally seized. In the Black Sea, the Ukrainians have pushed back the Russian fleet and established routes for grain exports, bolstering global food security.
This is my video update on this Wednesday, midday, November the 29th. Let's get started and talk about what is going on in the world on this Wednesday. Let's start things off with Budanov's wife, the intel chief for the Elensky regime. His wife was poisoned. And here is the article from Zero Hedge. Ukraine military spy chief's wife poisoned in suspected assassination attempt. Ukraine has been shocked by an apparent assassination attempt against the wife of Ukraine's top intelligence official, who has fallen ill and was hospitalized after being poisoned. Mariana Budanov, the wife of Lieutenant General Kirilo Budanov, who is the head of the main directorate of intelligence, the DUI, of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, was sickened, and heavy metals of an unknown origin were found in her system. Ukrainian media says she sought treatment after a prolonged period of not feeling well, and Ukrainska Pravda cited official sources who say Budanov was most likely poisoned through food. So more palace intrigue in Ukraine, or perhaps the poisoning was done by the Putin. Maybe they were trying to get at Budanov and they got at Budanov's wife instead. Maybe it was Elensky and his guys. Maybe it was Zaluzhny. Who knows? Z versus B now? Zelensky versus Zaluzhny versus Budanov. Is that what we have going on here in Ukraine? We have the politicians, the Elensky regime. We have the military, Zaluzhny, and now we have the intel. Maybe we're seeing a three-way power struggle forming in Kiev. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it was the neocons or Collective West, three-letter agencies. This doesn't seem like it was a one-off poisoning attempt. From what I'm reading, this was like a poisoning that was done over a prolonged period of time. At least that's the sense that I'm getting at this story. Anyway, interesting. Very interesting. Maybe it was Budanov. I've read articles saying that Budanov wanted to get rid of his wife for various reasons. The android AI robot known as Budanov. Anyway, keep those hundreds of billions of dollars and euros flowing into the S show that is Ukraine. Just keep that money flowing into Ukraine, Collective West. So the Economist, they had a couple of articles that we're going to talk about over the past couple of days. The first article has the title, Russia is poised to take advantage of political splits in Ukraine. Z versus B. Zelensky versus Zaluzhny versus Budanov. The political splits in Ukraine are forming, and the Putin is going to take advantage of those political splits. So Danilov, the other intel guy, he said the other day that Putin has activated his sleeper spies in Ukraine to take advantage of political splits. And since he made that statement, Danilov has had to walk back that statement. He said that the UK media outlet that interviewed him, I think it was the Times of the UK, he said that the media outlet, they misquoted him. They misunderstood what he said because Danilov, in the interview, he told the Times that Putin has sleeper spies in the SBU. He has moles, spies, moles, deeply embedded in the intel architecture of Ukraine. And I imagine that Danilov's statement, his revelation, his claim that Putin has spies in the SBU, I imagine that pissed off a lot of people. And so Danilov had to walk back those statements. But we have The Economist now saying that the Putin is poised to take advantage of all of these political splits in Ukraine, because that's what the Putin does. The Putin is a master at creating division and taking advantage of that division. So keep those hundreds of billions flowing into Project Ukraine, because things are getting very, very interesting. And The Economist, they had another article with the title, Ukraine's New Enemy, War Fatigue in the West. Congress holds up military aid as unsupportive populists make gains in Europe. Those unsupportive populists, those unsupportive MAGA folks, that Trump, you see, Trump's to blame. Trump is to blame. So the problem right now in Ukraine, the problem with Project Ukraine and this proxy war with Russia is fatigue, but not the fatigue of Ukraine military and soldiers. No, that's not the problem. The problem is fatigue in the West. Damn it, West. Damn it, unsupportive populists. Damn it, you Trump MAGA people. Damn your fatigue. Damn your fatigue. Why are you guys getting fatigued? You're the problem. You see, you're the problem, MAGA. You guys are the problem. Trump is the problem. Trump panic is setting in. Let me read you an article from The Economist. Let me read you a paragraph from the article from The Economist. The longer the delay, the more parties become consumed by election fever. If there is no deal before Christmas, some in Congress worry a fresh allocation of aid may be delayed until after the elections in November 2024. And if Donald Trump is elected president, it may be ended entirely. Time is not our friend, says one gloomy pro-Ukraine senator. If Trump is elected president, aid to Ukraine may end entirely. It may be entirely over if the orange man, the evil orange man, see the oranges? The evil orange man, if he is elected, or maybe these are tangerines, I don't know. If he is elected, if the orange man, the evil orange man is elected, well, the aid may end entirely. The evil orange man. Those Western populists, they're always screwing things up. Time is not our friend, says a very gloomy pro-Ukraine senator. An American pro-Ukraine senator? Is that what The Economist is saying? Is that the person that said this quote to The Economist? Says one gloomy pro-Ukraine senator. So we have a gloomy pro-Ukraine senator walking the halls of Congress. Who could it be? Is it Mitch McConnell? Or maybe it's Lindsey Graham. Maybe Lindsey is gloomy. All right, so let's see here. The Economist, they also say in this article, they also admit in this article that Russia is outproducing the collective West when it comes to ammunition. In what has often been an artillery war, Ukraine is already suffering from shell hunger, says Michael Kaufman of the Carnegie Endowment of International Peace and American think tank. He reckons that Ukraine was firing 220,000 to 240,000 larger caliber shells, 152 mm and 155 mm per month during the summer. But the rate of fire is dwindling and will fall to 80,000 to 90,000 shells a month. Even those numbers are more than America and European countries are currently producing, roughly 28,000 and 25,000 a month, respectively. Western production is rising with targets to triple output, but that will take a year or more, and some of the output will be used to replenish Western stocks and supply others. Russia outpaces Western shell production and has been helped by a surge of rounds from North Korea. Those evil North Koreans helping Russia out with a surge of ammunition. So an admission from The Economist, yet another admission from the collective West media, that Russia outproduces not only the United States, but Russia outproduces the entire collective West. Russia makes a lot of shells. They also make a lot of shovels and a lot of washing machines. And then they take the chips from the washing machines. And the Russian economy avoids entering the tatter zone, the tatters zone, by producing so much ammunition and so many washing machines and shovels. That country that masquerades as a gas station, outproducing the entirety of the collective West. Who would have ever called that one? That Putin, that evil Putin. The Economist then says, if American support diminishes, Ukraine will be unable to mount another large counteroffensive, says Mr. Kaufman. It can try to make even greater use of drones, but ultimately it will have to dig in. Ukraine should learn from what worked for Russia, he says. The stronger your defenses, the fewer shells and troops you need to hold the line. Vladimir Putin, Russia's leader, has boasted that without Western support, Ukraine would be crushed within a week. But rather than a sudden collapse, says Jack Watling of the Royal United Services Institute, a British think tank, defeat is likely to be slow and painful. Not so, according to Mr. Yermak. We made our choice. We will be fighting for victory, but of course, this victory will be more quick, and we will save more lives if the help will continue. So this was, I think this was the last two paragraphs from the Economist article. So Mr. Kaufman says that as support diminishes, Ukraine will be unable to mount another large counteroffensive. That's what Mr. Kaufman says. Another counteroffensive, because the first one went so well, Mr. Kaufman. Man, these guys, these think tankers. And we have another think tanker in the UK who says the defeat will be slow and painful. That doesn't sound too good for the Elensky regime. Slow and painful. But Mr. Yermak, the man behind the curtain, they say, the man who really runs Elensky, Mr. Yermak, he said that Ukraine has made its choice. It will fight to victory. And the victory will be quick. And Ukraine will save many more lives as long as Ukraine gets money and help from the collective West. Right? That's the strategy, huh? Get more money and more help from the collective West, because that's going to save lives, according to Yermak. Because the $300 billion that the collective West has already given to Ukraine in the last year and a half, that's really saved a whole bunch of lives, hasn't it, Mr. Yermak? So that's his thinking. So we go to Ireland now. Very briefly, let's make a stop in Ireland. And let me read you a title from the Irish Independent. Ireland is one of the best parts of paradise, and migrants will move here, Varadkar says, as he urges people not to conflate migration with crime. Ireland is one of the best parts of paradise, and thousands of people will come here from abroad, Mr. Varadkar told the Dail. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So the Prime Minister of Ireland, he made a speech the other day, and he said that Europe, the EU, it's paradise. I wonder if I have the full quote here of what Mr. Varadkar said. Paradise Leo, we'll call him. We've got Jungle Joseph, and now we have Paradise Leo. Here we go. Europe is paradise, and Ireland is one of the best parts of paradise. Thousands will come here, and we just need to manage that as best we can. That is the full statement from Paradise Leo. It's just another day for you and me in paradise, according to the Prime Minister of Ireland. So, as Jungle Joseph said, Europe, the collective West, is the garden, and the rest of the world is the jungle. We now have the Prime Minister of Ireland saying that Europe, EU, it's paradise. Paradise, he says. And everyone should be welcome into paradise, right? Everyone should be welcomed into paradise, except the sinners. The sinners, the heretics, they should not be welcomed into paradise. The Putin and his supporters, they should not be allowed into paradise. So we have news that Finland will be closing the last border crossing with Russia. So Finland, they had something like 7 or 8 border crossings, and they've closed pretty much all of those border crossings except for 1 or 2. And I believe they are going to be closing, or they announced that they will be closing that final border crossing from Russia to Finland, Finland to Russia today, either today or tomorrow. All those border crossings into Finland will be closed. Finland is closing the doors to paradise. Why, Finland? Why are you closing the doors to paradise? Shouldn't the doors to paradise remain open? Sad. It's a sad day when you see Finland closing the doors to paradise. So Finland will completely close its eastern border with Russia on Thursday, shutting down the last open checkpoint for 2 weeks, Prime Minister Petteri Orpo announced during a press conference on Tuesday, blaming Moscow for the exceptional situation. The Raja Giuseppe crossing, located above the Arctic Circle, will remain closed until December 13th. 7 other checkpoints on the Finnish-Russian border were closed earlier this month due to a surge in incoming migration, Helsinki claimed was initiated by Moscow in retaliation for its accession to NATO earlier this year. Finland is the target of a Russian hybrid operation. This is a matter of national security, Interior Minister Mari Rantanen told reporters. Orpo has claimed to have intelligence suggesting Russia was helping asylum seekers reach the Finnish border, and argued the move was legally justified. This is an organized activity, not a genuine emergency, he told reporters on Monday, alleging the ease with which the migrants found their way to the remote border crossing point proved they were sent there by Moscow. That evil Putin, he is weaponizing the borders to paradise. The Putin is trying to sabotage the entrance into paradise. And Orpo, the Prime Minister of Finland, he has intelligence proving that Putin was weaponizing the entrance into paradise. He has intelligence. I wonder what that intelligence is. I wonder if Orpo got a phone call from Elensky. And Elensky called Orpo and he said, Orpo, I have some intelligence for you. And Orpo said, yes, Mr. President, yes, Mr. President. What is that intelligence? And Elensky said, Russia is trying to sabotage the doors to paradise. Yes, Mr. President, I will close the doors to paradise right away. Thank you, Mr. President, for that intelligence. Orpo has intelligence that the Putin is weaponizing the border crossing to Finland. What a shame. What a shame that Finland has to close the border crossing because according to Paradise Leo, the EU should allow all of the migrants, the immigrants, the asylum seekers. The EU should allow them into paradise, but now you have Finland closing the doors to paradise. What a dilemma the EU finds itself in. What a dilemma. So the OSCE, the Organization for Security and something in Europe, I forgot what it stands for, the Organization of Security, and what does the C stand for? The Organization of Security and Commonwealth, is that what the C stands for? Let me see here, if I can find out what the C stands for. The Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. The OSCE, they are going to be holding an event on the 16th, I believe, on the 16th of December? No, next week, I believe. Next week, they're going to be holding an event. Or maybe this week, I don't know. I don't know when the OSCE is going to be holding an event, a meeting. Anyway, that's not important. The important part to the story is that Russia has been invited to this OSCE meeting. And because Russia was invited to this meeting, we have all kinds of countries boycotting this meeting. Ukraine said they're not going to attend this meeting. Mr. Kalua, he said that he's not going to go because Lavrov and Russia were invited to this OSCE meeting. And the Baltic countries now are saying that they're going to boycott this OSCE meeting over Russia's Lavrov attending. That is according to Reuters. So all of these countries now are boycotting this OSCE meeting. What does it tell you that the OSCE is going to be inviting Russia to this meeting? I think last year Russia was not invited to this meeting, and now they're going to be inviting Russia. What does that tell you? Not a good sign for the Elensky regime and for Project Ukraine. Maybe we see some of that war fatigue setting in at the OSCE. My opinion of this is that who cares if Ukraine shows up? Who cares if the Baltic nations show up? Who cares if any countries in Europe show up for this meeting about security and cooperation in Europe? They don't need to show up. The only two countries that need to attend this meeting are Russia and the United States. That's it. If you're going to talk about security in Europe and cooperation in Europe, you only need two countries to speak to each other. That's the United States and that's Russia. All the other countries, they don't really need to attend. So boycott away Ukraine, boycott away Baltic nations. You're not really needed to make decisions with regards to the security of Europe. And since we're talking about Europe, how about Olaf Schultz, the Chancellor of Germany? Olaf Schultz has said that even though Germany has no money, they have no money and their economy is in the pooper, that they should still find ways to support Project Ukraine. Schultz urges support for Ukraine despite budget crisis. Aiding Kiev is of existential importance to Europe, the German chancellor has said. According to Reuters, Schultz said that it would be a grave and unforgivable mistake to neglect the modernization of our country in the face of all these acute challenges. While Schultz called for the transformation of the German economy, he said that the country would continue to provide assistance to Ukraine as long as it is necessary, as long as it takes. We're broke. We're in recession. We have no money. Our pipelines have been blown apart. Our industry's in tatters. It is in tatters. But we got to support Ukraine for as long as necessary, for as long as it takes, according to Olaf Schultz. And the German economy must go through a transformation. That sounds painful. That sounds really, really painful. Whenever you have a president, prime minister, or chancellor tell the people that their economy has to go through a transformation, that means that Germany is in for a whole lot of pain. But let's not call it pain. Let's call it a transformation. What else do we have going on in the world? Sticking with Europe, we have Reuters reporting that Slovak truckers threaten Ukraine border blockade from Friday. Slovakia truckers are going to now block the border, according to Reuters. So we have the Polish truckers and farmers now protesting and blocking the border with Ukraine. And instead of this blockade, this row being de-escalated and finding a solution, it now looks like this fight between Ukraine and Poland is now spreading to Slovakia. So now we're going to have a Polish trucker blockade, and now it looks like we're going to have a Slovakia trucker blockade. Welcome to the European Union, Ukraine. Business Insider, they are reporting that, I love Business Insider. So many clown worlds from Business Insider, even though I don't have this marked as a clown world. Business Insider is reporting that Ukraine says its Patriot missile system once took out 5 Russian aircraft in 5 minutes. Obviously, this article is an advertisement for the military-industrial complex, and I imagine that Business Insider is getting paid to come up with articles like this one. But, things are not so bad for the Elensky regime and the Ukraine military. At least they have the Patriot missile system, and that Patriot missile system can shoot down 5 Russian aircraft in 5 minutes. The article actually says that the Patriot system shot down 2 Russian fighter jets and 3 Russian helicopters in 5 minutes. Pretty impressive, those Patriot missiles. Pretty impressive. 5 aircraft in 5 minutes. It's almost like a video game, huh? Just knocking down those Russian aircraft in a matter of 5 minutes. I don't know if I was a leader of an EU country after reading this article, I would just get on the phone and order me up a couple of Patriot missile systems. I would order me something like 10 or 20 Patriot missile systems. If they can shoot 5 Russian aircraft in 5 minutes, that's damn impressive. That is amazing stuff. So yesterday I talked about Elon Musk's trip to Israel to meet with Netanyahu, and we have some results, some updates connected to Musk's trip to Israel. The first update is that Starlink for Gaza will not happen. This was reported on like 3 weeks ago. I think I was in Prague when actually reported on this story, which was that Elon Musk was preparing to open up Starlink internet access in Gaza to NGOs, to like the Red Cross and organizations like that. Not to everyone, not to Hamas, nothing like that. He was just going to open it up to NGOs, humanitarian aid in Gaza. And Israel was upset with that because they said that Hamas could use Starlink, and Elon Musk gave assurances that would not happen. But it's important to open up internet access to organizations like the Red Cross or the Red Crescent. And the thinking was that Israel did not want these aid organizations to have internet access because then they would be able to report the devastation and the tragedy, the horror of what is happening in Gaza. That was what many analysts said. That was why Israel was resistant to having even organizations like the Red Cross or the Red Crescent having internet access. But since his trip to Israel, Musk has now said that he is not going to open up Starlink to Gaza, to anybody, to any organization in Gaza, unless he gets approval from the Israeli government. Tech billionaire Elon Musk agreed to make Starlink internet service in Gaza subject to Israeli approval during a visit to the country Monday, according to Israeli Communications Minister Shlomo Karhai. So that is one update with Elon Musk's trip to Israel. And we have another update, which is that Hamas actually invited Musk to visit Gaza so he can get both sides of the story, so he can see not only what happened and what is happening in Israel, but so he can also see what is going on in Gaza as well. And Elon Musk, he tweeted that it would be dangerous for him to go to Gaza. Let me read you this Twitter thread. Walter Bloomberg tweeted, Hamas representative, we invite Elon Musk to visit Gaza to see the extent of destruction caused on Gaza as a result of Israeli bombardment. And Musk replied, seems a bit dangerous there right now, but I do believe that a long-term prosperous Gaza is good for all sides. So Elon Musk was invited to Gaza, and for the time being, he is not going to go. It looks like he's not going to go. It is dangerous to go to Gaza. That was Elon Musk's reply. The BBC, they are running an article with the title, Nikki Haley bags Coke endorsement in bid to replace Donald Trump. I love this title. Nikki Haley bags Coke. Coke or Koch? How do you pronounce their name, these billionaire neocons? The Koch brothers or the Koch brothers? Or the Koch brothers? Nikki Haley bags Coke endorsement in bid to replace Trump. Or is it the Koch or the Koch brothers? Nikki Haley bags Koch endorsement in bid to replace Donald Trump. I don't know how you pronounce their last name. I just bookmarked this title because I found it funny. That's it. It's a good segue to my clown world. Yeah, Nikki Haley and everybody on the Republican side of the presidential campaign, of the GOP campaign, they're like 50 points down to Trump, or like, I don't even know at this point, 550 points behind Trump. And they're all just kind of sitting there. It's so pathetic. It really is pathetic, to be quite honest. Not Vivek. I like Vivek. I like Vivek Ramaswamy. He says interesting things, and it seems like he has cojones, and he's very articulate. But people like Chris Christie or Nikki Haley, I mean, you know, they're just sitting there. They're waiting. Like Nikki Haley is just waiting for something to happen to Trump, some kind of lawfare or some kind of act by God or act by the CIA. I don't know. I don't know what they've told Nikki Haley. I don't know what the deep state or the neocons or the powers that be have told Nikki Haley, but obviously they told her something. They said, look, just stick around. We'll deal with the evil orange man. Don't you worry. We're going to deal with the orange man. just stick around and we'll deal with him. In the meantime, here's some cock money or Koch money or Coke money or whatever, these billionaires, however you pronounce their name. All right, let's do a cloud world, everybody, and we'll wrap this video up. How am I doing on time? I'm doing all right on time. We'll do one clown world here. So, oh man, this clown world. So Politico, they have their top end of the year list, and they have like their top, I think they had their top influencers, their top disruptors, and their top dreamers or something like that. Anyway, one of the categories that that Politico has is their top dreamers of the year, and the number one top dreamer of the year was Elensky. Elensky is the number one dreamer of the year, according to Politico. And that's not the best part. The number two dreamer of the year, right after Elensky, is Alexei Navalny. The news is better than any TV show, any movie. I mean, the news beats any movie, any TV series, you name it, the news beats it, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So Elensky is the number one dreamer. Oh boy, where is Davy Jones? Where are the monkeys when you need them? Daydream believer and a homecoming queen. How did the lyrics go? Wake up, sleepy Jean. Daydream believer and a homecoming queen. So yeah, Elensky is the number one dreamer, and Navalny is the number two dreamer. And so here's what I can't stop laughing, man. Here's what Politico writes for Elensky. The first paragraph. This is what Politico says: Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela. Every once in a while, a leader comes along and single-handedly changes the course of history, not through the might of their army or the strength of their enemy, but through the power of their words. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Elensky is such a leader. From his defiant "We Are Here" video, filmed in the first days of the war outside his presidential office on Bankova Street, and his iconic "I need ammunition, not a ride" quip delivered in response to a U.S. offer to evacuate. Then it goes on and on. It sounds like a movie trailer, doesn't it? You know the voice that I'm talking about? You know that voice that you hear in just about every movie trailer? That's what this sounds like. I can hear that voice in my head as I'm reading like this paragraph. This is like a movie. I need ammunition, not a ride. Starring Volodymyr Elensky. Dreamer of the year. The fight against the Putin, starring Volodymyr Elensky, with Sean Penn as the Putin and Kathy Bates as Victoria Newland. Oh man, featuring George Clooney as Mikhail Podolyak and Ben Stiller as Arestovich. Oh boy. What a paragraph, huh? Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King, and Nelson Mandela. That's who they compare Elensky to. From his defiant "We Are Here" video, filmed in the first days of the war outside his presidential office on Bankova Street. You mean the video he made after he was pooping in his pants, calling up Bennett, the prime minister of Israel, begging Bennett to go speak with Putin and to make sure that Putin wasn't going to assassinate Elensky? You mean that video? When he was in his bunker pooping on himself, and then he calls up Bennett and he's like, "Bennett, please call Putin. Please call Putin and make sure he's not going to take me out." And Bennett was like, just relax, Elensky. I'm positive that Putin's not going to take you out. Don't worry. And then once Elensky got his assurances from Bennett that Putin has no interest in taking out Elensky, that's when he went out onto Bankova Street and said, "We are here." Elensky. Most of those videos in the early days were done. It looked like they were done in front of a green screen. I don't know. I don't know. That's what the experts say. A lot of those videos were in front of a green screen. I don't know. Maybe that's AI. Maybe that's fake news. But the Putin is the AI, so maybe the Putin was creating the AI to create the video with Elensky in the early days of the conflict. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what they say about Navalny. Described by some As the Nelson Mandela of Russia, Navalny is effectively its only opposition leader. While his origins in nationalist politics and his past stance on Putin's 2014 annexation of Crimea make him a problematic hero for progressive Russians, the evolution of his political position has seen many prominent former critics fall into line behind him. Navalny's also Mandela? I thought Elensky was Mandela. So Elensky's Mandela, Elensky's Churchill, MLK, and Mandela wrapped into one. Navalny's just Mandela. That's it. Oh, man. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to say. That's enough. That's enough. Politico, you've left me without any further comment on this clown world. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X, and go to the Duran shop. 20% off. Use the code TheDuran20. Take care.